Good morning, friends. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Batman Day. Because apparently that's a thing. And I keep forgetting about it every year. Something's wrong with me. But it is. It's Batman Day. And I know a bunch of comic shops are having sales, and a bunch of people are running out to their local shops to go snag some good deals on Batman books. I think my LCS is doing like 50% off of any collected Batman editions. So hardcovers, omnibus, anything half off. So it's a good day to be a Bat fan. Let's check in with the chat. We got other things going on today, some celebratory things going on today, but let's see what friends have poked into the romper room here. We got Kevin from Entropy and Comics, always tailgating. I know he works on Saturdays. I hope you're taking it easy though, if you can. Rob Boswell himself, happy Dark Knight Day. Same to you, sir. Perry Comics eyeballing us. What's going on, Perry? Rod the Rican in the chat. Good to see you, sir. And yeah, always the Batman the Animated Series. Always a good choice. Definitely agree. Hello to Miss So. Happy Saturday. Good morning to you. Ariel, what's going on? Sarah, good to see you in the chat. Running off to work. Okay, have a good day. I hope it goes well. Top of the morning to Trailblazing. Good to see you. Happy Saturday. Happy Batman Day. So today also happens to be Charlie's birthday. I have now officially John's Comics with teens. I have no kids. I have teens. Two of them now. So welcome to a rebranding event, if you will. She's asleep. This is what teenagers do at 8:30 in the morning. They sleep. If you don't have any of those, if you're not aware of any of those, if you don't remember being one of those, that's what happens. It didn't really work that way for me, but it does work for them. I have a present for her down here. If she pokes her head in and joins us this morning, I'm gonna give it to her right now. If not, I'm gonna wrap it and we'll do it later on. JP says, I had yesterday off, so I ran a bunch of comic shops in the city, an hour plus away. First time in months, only for them to tell me that sales are tomorrow. Yeah. Boo. Yeah. There's a lot of sales going on today for Bat fans. And what I've done, I pulled out all the trades that I have, all the hardcovers I've got. The only things I didn't pull out were my two absolute editions, and I'm fine with that. But all the collected editions I've got for Batman are now out here, and we can look at some of those and talk about some of those runs or those storylines and see where this all goes. Because I decided let's talk the Bat. Let's talk about the Bat today. Perfect day for it. So I've just got this giant pile, and I'll show you real quickly. Whoa, come on over. I got this giant pile of Bat books here, just all happening. Lots of Bat books. Whoa, welcome to the ride. I hope everybody survived that journey. Lots of Bat books. And in doing that real quickly, I noticed one of them that doesn't belong because it's not technically just a Bat book, but we'll deal with that later. Adam, what's going on? I'm hoping to hang out with Adam on Friday next week. He lives nearby to me, and we're going to try to like hit a shop and get some dinner and hang out. And I got his box, his giveaway stuff right there. So I got you. So hopefully, Adam, you're still good for Friday next week. I mean, starting teen years off, the best way for a teen is sleeping in. Right. This is not wrong. He's not wrong. He's accurate. As far as new comics, and since JP's in the chat, I'll just run through this a little quickly here. What I picked up this week, I got the new issue of Green Lantern, of course. Had to do it. That's how I roll. I got the new issue of the Incredible Hulk, Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'm going to be picking up that. So he technically worked on both of those books I just showed you. Al Ewing's new Avengers book, Avengers Incorporated. I got issue 1. I'll give that a try. Of course, I had to get one X book, so I got X-Men Red with my girl, rocking the cover there. Have not read those yet. The other two I did read. We got Tony in the chat. If you go to my community tab where I can share other people's videos and channels and things, I shared his unboxing last night because it was fantastic. I sent him an omnibus. If you watched the unboxing I did with Tony not too long ago, he mentioned an omnibus he wanted, and I just went on InStock Trades and sent it to him. And then he totally forgot that I did that. And then he unboxed it and had a reaction, and it was very entertaining. What is up, Terry? Bronze Page Comics. Happy birthday to Charlie. I will pass that along for sure. Okay, so the two books I did read for this week were the new issue 1 for Daredevil, new creative team, Saladin Ahmed and Aaron Kuder on art. It didn't wow me. I didn't love it. It might just be that I'm still getting over Zdarsky's run being finished. So it could be an emotional baggage kind of thing. It's possible. And then just because JP shouted it out, this morning I was reading Birds of Prey issue 1 with this awesome Art Germ Big Barda cover. Fantastic. Love it. Such a great cover. The issue, it feels very typical issue 1. And it feels like the kind of Harley Quinn I find annoying. The kind that we got in the Birds of Prey movie. It just seems like the wrong Harley Quinn for me. If you put anybody else but Harley Quinn in that part, I probably would like this issue a lot more. Because you got Barda, you got Black Canary, you got Cassandra Cain. It's an interesting crew of characters they've compiled to be this new Birds of Prey team. It's just the second you throw that annoying Harley Quinn in there, I'm just like, ugh. She's the Deadpool of DC. That's what she's becoming. She's the Deadpool of DC. And so in small doses, it can work if they can emotionally ground the character in some way that feels significant. But it hasn't worked yet here. So we'll see. Well, I'm going to probably give it a second issue just to kind of see how I feel. But this kind of Harley Quinn is nails on a chalkboard for me a lot of times. And I just struggle to read her character and anything but an annoyance. Just the fact that there was a scene that they posed where Cassandra Cain got beat up by Harley Quinn. Like, get out of here. Get out of here with this. Get out of here with this. Crazy talking. What's up, Kenneth Bird? Good to see you, Kenneth. Happy Saturday to you, sir. So the scenes without her, I enjoyed. There's a great scene with Cassandra Cain and Big Barda that I really, really liked. There's a Oliver Queen sequence with Black Canary that I really liked. So there's some moments that I think work a lot better. But the second Harley comes in, it's like Deadpool just walked into the scene. So I'm sure JP is typing me a big paragraph of his perspective on it, but that's where I'm at. It's a Kelly Thompson book. I can't remember the artist's name. If anybody read Birds of Prey from, I think it was last week, not this week. Let me know if you can remember the name of the artist, because they put the last name Romero. They don't put the full name on the cover, so I can't remember. Sometimes I just can't remember all these people's names. The Barda and Cass scene was the best part of the book for sure. There you go. All right. He didn't type me a big paragraph. All right. I thought for sure he was going to tell me how I was wrong, and I'm a Harley Quinn hater and whatever. So let's talk about Batman, y'all. Let's talk about some Bat. Obviously I have. Whoa! I'm going to move my desk back a little bit here. Obviously, I have love for certain writers on Batman more than others. And, even behind me here, you can kind of see some of that Frank Miller love. And we'll definitely kick it off with Frank. And I'll move some stuff out of the way. Yeah. Obviously, I've got so many versions of this book. If you have never tried Batman, if you've never read any Batman, or just never gotten into the character, you're a Marvel person, whatever, just read this one. Like, it's legitimately the only one I think anybody needs to read to get into the character. It works perfectly as a one-off. It works really, really well as a solo story. However you want to look at it, it doesn't need to connect to anything. It feels like canon to me, and I believe it's sort of become canon as a result, even though most of what Frank Miller does usually is outside of continuity in one way or another. Uh, it is the quintessential Bat story for me. No supervillains, no crazy powers, nothing like this, no cosmic anything. Very street level book. So Daredevil fans would dig this. I think it's just a really simple book that works on a ton of levels and really establishes Bruce Wayne, Commissioner Gordon, although at the time he's a detective, Lieutenant, I think, Gordon. It establishes all this stuff, the city of Gotham, the crime problems, the backstory. So I think it just works on every fundamental level, including the incredible art by David Mazzucchelli. So it's the one book I can recommend wholeheartedly, and I buy it every time I see it. So I've got 2 copies of the trade just to give away to friends who've never read it or people who've never really tried these comics before. I give it away a ton. I have an absolute edition now, which is like the way I will read it probably from now on. And I have all the single issues. I even have a signed Frank Miller copy now, thanks to Karate Kevin, Superpower Review Kevin, if some of you know him that way. And he sent me this piece of artwork that he drew or painted as well. I think it's pen. I think he drew. So obviously that's my Batman. That is my favorite Bat story, my favorite Batman comic, and always ranks at the tip of the pyramid, tip of the spear, whatever you want to call it. You're not wrong. I mean, I could be a Harley Quinn hater. The 2, I think you and I agree on this, JP, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I love the animated series Harley. Even if her character is incredibly problematic, I can still appreciate her. Mostly it's because of the voice acting is so good, and the way they use her is so restrained. And then they have issues like Harley, I think it's called Harley Quinn's One Bad Day or something like that, where she's trying to go straight and she tries to go shopping, but then gets in trouble with the police and all these things. And Bruce is trying to help her find her way. So I think the animated series version is high on my list of favorites. And then, of course, Harleen, which you and I both really love, is a phenomenal. I think they sell it in a hardcover story that everybody should read at some point and enjoy, because I think it's just a great look at the psychology of Harley Quinn. And I guess it's probably not continuity because of the things that they do in that, but I think it's Stefan Sebjic is the artist and writer, just really captures something that I think, at least if nothing else, speaks to her fragile mental state, her trauma, and the things that she goes through in her life. So for me, it justifies a lot of things. And then lastly, the only other Harley Quinn I really like is the alternate universe White Knight of Gotham Joker Jack Napier story. If you haven't tried any of those, I really recommend it. It's, I think, 4 volumes now, and the universe keeps expanding. But really, I just love the first volume. And it's a great look at how what they do is they retcon Harley to make it 2 characters. I think it's a great, bold choice. Ooh, coffee delivery. Thank you. For those that haven't read the White Knight books, and I believe there are 4, and there's one even called Harley Quinn, but that's later in the series. They retcon Harley to make it so that the doctor version, the intelligent version who falls in love with Joker and throws her life away, is not the insane, crazy go-go dancer girl. There's 2, and Joker is so unstable, he doesn't necessarily recognize that there are 2 different ones. And when the original Harley walks out on him because he's just so awful, he replaces her. And then you have this wonderful psychological story going on where, Joker is clearly cracked mentally. These 2 ladies are both fragile mentally, and and they're all stuck in this awful love triangle, and each of them loving a different part of Jack Napier and this criminal. So I like that version of Harley as well. Uh, I struggle with her outside of that. I can appreciate her as a love interest for Poison Ivy, a character I like a lot more. I do think that they match a lot better, and oftentimes when they're in a story together, I think Ivy elevates the flaws in Harley. So those stories I've really enjoyed as well, I should say. But that's me on Harley Quinn. That's my rant that I always give on Harley Quinn. So that was Batman Year One, a must read. If you're a Bat fan, it's a must read. Let me have a little something here. Got to turn my mug around so that you can see. I'm fluent in movie quotes and sarcasm. It's true. Okay. So that is my top Batman book. Let's see. Did you read the Old Lady Harley story? It was fun. Oh, I have not. No, I have not. What is up, Gomez, comic collector? Good to see you, sir. Good morning to you. I love that logo. You have a great logo. I'm going to put that up there again. Look how fantastic that is with the Swamp Thing in there. Yeah, that's freaking cool. I love that logo. All right. The other two Miller book I couldn't find, and I know I've got a hardcover of it somewhere, but of course I've got Dark Knight Returns, and I've got it with the this is the version with the CDs, so it's got the movies, the DVDs. I'm sorry, and is it their music? Oh, it's just special features, but it's got the movies, the 2-disc movie edition. I don't know if it's like a special deluxe edition. So the animated versions that DC made, it comes with those. But it's a really nice hardcover edition. The artwork, of course, phenomenal. Sorry. Just amazing. This is about as good as Frank Miller's artwork usually gets. Not a big mega fan. But of course, this is a must read. I consider it Elseworld. I do not consider it continuity, and that's part of my frustration with modern Batman stories is they treat the Dark Knight Returns as canon, and it's just not. And the gun shooting and stuff, it's fine in a one-off, but in all the time, I think it's just a little bit much for me. But I have read all Air Spider. Good morning. I've read all of the 3 Miller trilogy books, and so I've got here the Master Race. This was a gift from Rod just to Rican in his comics. And I've read Dark Knight Strikes Again, but I can't find my copy of, I don't know where Dark Knight Strikes Again is. It's probably buried somewhere. I will say I like each one a little bit less than the one before it. But I don't hate any of them. I enjoyed all of them for what they were. I think Strikes Again gets a lot of hate. Dark Knight Strikes Again gets a lot of hate because it was a very hard left turn from Dark Knight Returns. But what I like about it is I had been reading a lot of Justice League at that time, and it's ultimately a Justice League book. If you read Dark Knight Strikes Again more as instead of being a sequel to the Dark Knight Returns, call it Justice League Returns, I think it's a way better book. I think it's a phenomenal book. And then ultimately you could have called the third book World Finest Returns or something. It could have been so that each one was a returns, but it was not necessarily focusing on Bruce each time, because the second story is totally about the Flash and the Atom and of course Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, all these other characters coming back. And I thought it worked really, really well if you thought of it as a Justice League book and not necessarily just a continuation of the Batman Dark Knight Returns. So if you've never read it, or if you've read it and didn't think you liked it much, go to your library, open your Hoopla app or whatever, and try Dark Knight Strikes Again and read it from the mindset of this is a Justice League book, and you'll get all those characters, Flash, Hal Jordan, and you'll get these characters and you'll see them from Bruce's perspective, and as they re-team up to defeat Lex Luthor and the villains of the story. Really worth it in that regard. What is up? Gomez says, just picked up Batman Monster Men 6-part mini. and Batman and the Mad Monk 6-part mini by Matt Wagner. $15 for each set. That's nice. Happy Batman Day. Good solid pickup. Funk Comics, what is going on? Happy Saturday to you, sir. Happy Batman Day. I'm gonna have another sip of my coffee here. Mark, what is up? Happy Batman Day to you. Are you, Mark? I know. I thought you were out with the kids the other day. Are you doing Batman stuff with the kids today? I know that you got Batman friendly kids over there. I am running through all the trades and hardcovers I have for Batman. I just finished the Frank Miller stuff, and I'm going to move over to the Grant Morrison stuff because now I have officially, and that's I think why. That's why Final Crisis is in this pile, because I have the entire Grant Morrison collection. And let's talk a little bit about it, because I haven't finished reading it because there's a ton to read. Of course, in the center of it all, you have Final Crisis, which is a big part of what's going on here, because obviously, spoiler, but Batman gets replaced because of a tragic incident, right? But let's start with the original 3. And I'm a fan of I've read about 2/3. So the original stories, right? Batman and Son, The Black Glove, and then of course R.I.P. Right? So some great artists, by the way. Tony Daniel does a ton of stuff in here. Andy Kubert does a ton of stuff. Lots of great things going on here. And then Final Crisis kind of fits in there with those 4 books. That's him really setting up Bruce, and of course this concept of Damian Wayne and how Damian fits into his life. It's a really great setup for ultimately for my favorite portion of his run, which is Batman and Robin, where we get Dick Grayson becoming Batman and trying to train Damian. And I thought this relationship for me is so fantastic, and I really do love these 3 trades. And I think I just pushed them all out of order, but there's just 3 volumes. In the end, I think it only amounted to like 12 issues, 16 issues. Yeah, so only 16 issues. But this is my favorite part of what Grant Morrison did in his run. And I'll get to the last bit here in just a second, because Mark said something and I want to read it. He said, already took them to a comic toy show, then to the LCS for Batman Day. They're still up with Pop-Up. Nice. Awesome. So I'm doing stuff with my kids a little later because today's Charlie's birthday. So we're putting the cupcakes together, and we're gonna take the kids down to the beach and meet all the family. It's gonna be a little cold. It'll be like 70 something degrees for beach. Not the best beach weather, but we get the volleyball out, and we'll have a fun day playing and hanging out together at the beach for Charlie's birthday, because it's now I'm John's Comics with Teens as of today. John's Comics with Teens. Lastly, we've got obviously the return of Bruce Wayne, and I haven't read this volume yet. So I will say I have not finished Grant Morrison's run. I got Return of Bruce Wayne, and I've sort of hunted down all these trades because most of them are out of print, because I think they're starting to do them in an omnibus form. I enjoyed hunting them down, and I don't know that I'm ready to get rid of them yet. And then I've got a hardcover for the first volume of Batman Incorporated, which I have not read, but I've heard very good things about Batman Incorporated. And then I've got volume 2 of Batman Incorporated. This is when the end of Grant Morrison run happened, and then Scott Snyder took over, if I'm not mistaken, like right after that. Omni-John, right? I even gave one away. I don't know if you saw on Oldwood's channel. He did an unboxing. I gave him an omnibus as a gift. He totally forgot that I told him I'm sending it to him too. So as far as a writer and an artist, like really being in sync on a large scale for Batman, I think Grant Morrison was somebody that I had a good take on the Bat characters with Damian, with Dick Grayson, with Bruce. I think he really did something interesting, and I appreciated that. It didn't always work perfectly, but I appreciated the risks he took, much like Frank Miller. But let's get into my second favorite. So if year 1 is my favorite, then Long Halloween is my second favorite. I think this is just an absolute masterpiece. And talk about artist-writer combos. We know that Loeb and Sale consistently had a solid vision for things, whether it's Daredevil Yellow or, of course, this 3-part series. I am a massive, massive Long Halloween fan. And if ever a book felt like it was a sequel to Batman Year One, this feels like a better Batman Year Two to me. So if you're somebody who tried Batman Year One and you're like, I really, really loved it, but I don't know that I want to dive into the Bat universe, there's not a lot I want to read, this is the sequel you should check out. It's not perfect. There's no perfect when it comes to art, right? Everything's got their flaws, but this is absolutely a masterpiece. It works on so many levels. Artistically, of course, just Tim Sale kills this work. But I think they also do a great job of incorporating all the villains. So you get a great moment for Joker, for Poison Ivy, Two-Face. All of them get time here being shown for what they can bring to a Bat story and what they add to that universe. And then, of course, Bruce and Batman are really well utilized. And then the ongoing mystery and the usage of holidays spread through the story. Just really excellent, phenomenal story. So I cannot praise this book enough. It is absolutely worth your time. And for me, it goes Year One, Long Halloween, numbers 1 and 2 all the way. We have got the man, the myth, the legend in the chat. What is going on, Shop? What is going on? Shopverse for life. I need to get a shirt, a poster, or something from him. But if you guys don't know Shop for Comics, get on over to Instagram. Shop for Comics. There's how you spell it, just like that. He has been doing a great job. You know, we talk a lot about this community and people in our community who bring people together. There's been so many YouTube channels I have found and fellow content creators and just comic fans that I have found because of this gentleman right here. And he does the fun little simple task of recreating superhero characters with comic community members blended together. And then I'm like, oh, if Shop did a version of this person, I should check out their content. And before I know it, I'm subscribed and I've got a new person to enjoy their content. So this is a great and simple way of connecting the community. And I appreciate you, sir. I really do. Let's see. I wanted to get to these comments here. Yes, favorite number 1 and favorite second. There you go. Perfect. In sync. I like it. Long Halloween, hands down, one of the best reads. Love when they bring Falcones into the mix. Yes, for sure. What is up, Jason? The Southern Comic Geek is in the chat. What's going on, Jason? Happy Batman Day, sir. And of course, there are 2 supplemental volumes that don't match Long Halloween, but for people that want to scratch the itch of, I want more of this, this is what you get. Obviously, we have Haunted Night, and then, of course, Dark Victory, where we finally bring Dick Grayson in a little bit. I really enjoy these. They're not on the same level of Long Halloween, but you can't argue with the quality of writing and art, and it's just a trilogy. You just need all of it. So for me, I don't, and maybe anyone, if anybody in the chat knows, maybe Mark knows, I don't think there's a collected omnibus for all of this stuff, all of the Tim Sale, Jeff Loeb, Batman stuff, but maybe there is. Dark Victory was better on the reread than you remembered. And the next time I read them, I'm going to try to just binge them all in a big go, but it's been a little while for sure. Let's see here. No, dude, absolutely. I appreciate what you're doing big time. And and what the best part about it is it comes from a place of fun, right? You're doing something you love doing that's fun, but it's all community based. And that's what's so cool about it. Yeah, I know because I know they had done like some hardcover editions and things like that, but I hadn't seen anything special beyond that. I would love a Loeb and Sale omnibus. Sign this guy up right there. We've got X11. Bravo. Salute to you, sir. I hope your weekend is going well, taking care of the family and the fur babies and everything out there. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. Happy Batman Day. It's Charlie's 13th birthday, so it's John's Comics with Teens. And I've got a Lego present for her right here if she pops in this morning. But, you know, teens don't wake up. It's not what they do. They don't do that. And we're 30 minutes in, and I'm running through my Batman trades, and I still have a giant. I still have all of these. I still have this giant stack. running through all the Batman books I own. And I realized the only one that I don't have right here, and Kavi's going to get mad, he's going to get mad at me. The only one I don't have right here is The Killing Joke, because the Absolute Edition is so big, it's on a shelf somewhere. I didn't grab it. So I do actually have two versions of The Killing Joke, because I found a nice cheap hardcover that was still in a shrink wrap, and I thought I could give it away to a fan at some point. So it's in the box over there, and I didn't dig it out. But I also have the Absolute Edition. So I do have The Killing Joke. I will say I enjoy it as an Alan Moore Elseworlds Joker story, but it doesn't, it's not on the same level for me as these other ones that I mentioned, but I did want to mention it. It's enjoyable. It's not horrible or anything like that. Are we getting a channel name change? It's a great question. I don't plan on that. I don't plan on it, but I do. It's a good joke. I'd rather joke about it than actually do it, because joking requires nothing from me. Planning and actually changing and getting a new logo, that's work. I'm not interested in that. Yeah, I do think it's a little overrated. That's a good way to describe it. I think Joker fans obviously love it a ton, and I respect that. I'm not a mega Joker fan. He ranks, I don't even know that he's in the top 5 of my favorite Bat villains. He would make the top 10. Two-Face and Poison Ivy are 1 and 2 always for me. If you count Catwoman as a villain, I usually do, then I would throw her in there. Scarecrow gets in there. I just feel like, for me, something about Joker, it's probably because he's just overused, but I think, it actually is horrible, John. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. I think he's just overused as a character, and he's an inconsistent villain. I guess that's the biggest criticism I have of the Joker, because he's very mysterious and we don't necessarily know his true origin, despite The Killing Joke trying to give us one. He's an inconsistent villain. Sometimes he's done like Mark Hamill does him in the animated series, which I love. Other times he's done as very human and very relatable. And other times he's absolutely like grotesque. The Scott Snyder version, and we're going to get to it in a second. Actually, let's just go now, is my least favorite for this. And I'm sorry to I know it's early in the morning. This, and I'm going to get rid of it right now, is my least favorite version of the Joker. Least favorite. It's just graphic. It's not even like scary or interesting. It's just graphic. And that was the turning point for me for the Joker. Reading the Snyder era and the way he used the Joker made me like the Joker less as a character. It made me less interested. Somebody explained to me how the Joker got his face cut off and then now in the comics looks totally like the normal Joker again. Like, how did he fix his face? I don't think anybody's ever going to explain that. They're just going to be like, nah, Scott Snyder wanted to do something gross. Let him do something gross, and then we'll worry about it later. Nobody worried about it later. But let's talk New 52, Scott Snyder era. I think in the opposite of, or much like Killing Joke, I think it's the most overrated Batman story because nobody remembers the ending. The first 2 volumes, City of Owls and Court of Owls, 1 and this is number 2, 1 and 2, are really strong. They're really strong. And I think, what's up, Eric? Good morning, Eric Huffman in the chat. What's going on, Eric? The first 2 volumes of Snyder's run are really strong. And I think he does some really interesting stuff about psychology. You know, it reminded me a lot of like the best Scarecrow stories where it's like the fear toxin is messing with Bruce's mind. Really good stuff. So for me, like those first 2 volumes are really where the juice is. It falls off really quickly after that for me. The Death of the Family, which I do own, that Joker one, comes down a big step. And then everything after Death of the Family, for me, is a train wreck. I just think he had no idea what to do next. And everybody loved what he had done. And so then he had to just keep coming up with stuff. And it just was like, Year Zero came, and it was just like, I don't know what's going on. This guy's just, it's an absolute train wreck for me. But those first two volumes, and I have them both in a hardcover, those first two volumes are very entertaining. I don't think I would put them on the same level again as Year One or Long Halloween, but very entertaining. And again, I like Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison way better than that stuff. I like that. I would always read Morrison's Batman and Robin ahead of Scott Snyder's stuff. But that's just me. That's just me personally. And I've got another big stack here that I would read ahead of it too. The New 52 hit with a thud. I mean, that's a very good explanation. What does Jason say to you? Don doesn't want to change the channel because that admits his kids are growing up and he's getting old. I've got 6 kids. I can relate. There you go, Jason. He gets it. He gets it. Oh, and I wanted to say something for Eric. What I've noticed is when I have channels that I know I hit the bell on, the little notification bell, I'll turn it off and turn it back on. And sometimes it'll just like restart YouTube's algorithm in a way and remind them of what I was looking for. There's my Batman friend. She sent me the link to an all day like marathon on YouTube of Batman content. And I was like, oh, that's more plans than I'm ready to take on in a day. But I appreciate the Crystal dropping me that link because I jumped in and they were talking to, oh, darn it, Crystal. Who were they? They were talking to a Batman writer, and I've already forgotten who the writer's name is. But good morning to you. Happy Batman Day and happy Charlie birthday. Charlie turns 13 today. All right, let's see what else we got here. Under my favorite, I'll do the next. Okay. So if my list goes Year One, Long Halloween, I'm probably going to pick this volume as my third favorite Batman. And it's not fair because it is Superman and Batman. But I absolutely love this volume. And this is a longer volume. This is 13 issues. Because this does the first arc is Ed McGuinness doing the artwork like you see on the covers here. The second story does Michael Turner artwork on the back. Really, really good. And the second story is the Supergirl story where the Kara Zor-El arrives. The first story has to do with Metallo and like a murder mystery kind of a thing. I picked this up off the shelf. I was reading these issues when they dropped. I love this Batman story. Now, is it fair to count it against other stuff when it's Batman and Superman? I'm going to do it anyways. I really do think it's phenomenal. So this one ranks incredibly high for me. If you haven't tried this, I know that there are hardcovers, there are trades, there may even be an Omni at some point. There may have been, but this is good stuff. Volume 1 of Superman Batman is phenomenal, absolutely worth the time. And probably tied with it, I'm a Batman Hush fan. A lot of the similar story structure styles that I loved from Long Halloween occur here. And again, Jeff Loeb, probably my favorite Batman writer, really has a good understanding of the characters and makes it very pop, like entertainment, without making it just like heavy and depressive and dark. It's certainly not a happy-go-lucky universe. It definitely is like Batman's universe. But I do love that he's got this kind of pop sentimentality about the character where there is bright color, there is intense visuals, and it's not just black on the page, you know? So for me, Hush, Superman, Batman, Long Halloween, I mean, it's really Jeff Loeb telling us, I know how to write this character in this universe, and you should respect that. And I do. Big fan. And then lastly on my top 5, I guess is what we're at now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sure. Why not? I like Batman Under the Red Hood. And this one's tricky because a lot of different people worked on these issues because this story, it collects Batman 635 through 641 plus 645 through 650 plus annual 25. It's a nice big trade paperback edition. And it basically introduces the Red Hood, who arguably spins out of the Hush book and then tells his story and what went on, and you really get a lot of great story as far as the journey of Jason Todd since his death, which I've got right here. Under the Red Hood is really, really great, and I'm glad I went and collected I've got a bunch of the single issues, and then of course this to read. Really, 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 really good, and I like that character. I think he's an interesting character. Yeah, I know he gets labeled a lot of times as DC's Punisher, and that's fine, but I think he's more interesting than that, and certainly his relationship to Batman is this interesting grounding force that is both positive and negative, right? It attracts him towards the light, but it also repels him because of their relationship being so antagonistic. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. I still love Hush. Not as good as I remembered on the reread. Lee's art carries it truly. And if you look at any of these big event volumes, you're gonna have those plot holes where you're like, well, that doesn't make great sense, but I'll just go with it because it's just so entertaining. I'm just going along with the ride. That's kind of how that goes for me. Oh, as a reminder, happy Batman Day. This guy has done so many great Batman rereads with Kavi, Comic Books NYC. Also goes by Panels and Pixels, I think now. So if you go back through JP's channel, the live streams, you'll find a bunch of Batman breakdowns, a bunch of great discussions around a ton of these volumes. And JP, if you want to drop some of your favorites, I know 1 and 2, I think we agree on Year One and Long Halloween, but any of the other ones, definitely drop those in the chat, and happy to know it. As far as modern reads, as far as like ultra modern, it's on the shelves right now. I am really enjoying World's Finest. This is the hardcover for Wade and Dan Mora. How did I forget his name? And their World's Finest series. I enjoyed volume 1, which is the first 5 issues. And then the second volume is coming in October, the second hardcover. And I'm going to keep up with this in a hardcover version. Just really, really great. And again, carried by this phenomenal artwork. I think Dan Mora is just absolutely fantastic and really gives us an old school Batman with the yellow and gray and blue, and then just a hyper pop view. I keep going with the word pop because the colors are popping, and the attitude seems very friendly versus some of the oppressive dark stuff that's a little intense. Let's see. Wheelchair Superhero. Happy Saturday. Happy Batman Day. I hope you're off to a good start. Panels, Pixels, and Pages. There you go. Perry's got it. Oh, that's very alliterative. Perry and Panels and Pixels and Pages. Read Batman the Cult. It's basically Snyder stole it for the plot for A Court of Owls plus some Bernie Wrightson art. Well, you asked for it, and I believe it's right here. Yeah. He asked for it, and there it is. The Cult. I have a trade for this. Yeah, I have not read it in a long time, probably since I originally bought it. Batman the Cult. I haven't read this one in a long, long time, but I had purchased as a younger man this hardcover sleeve, the Batman collection, and it had a bunch of different trades, including this one in it. And I'll go through some of the other ones that were in it. But yeah, the Cult, I remember really enjoying it. I do need to reread it. Apparently JP puts it high on his list. He says, we haven't done it in forever. Should start up again. But yeah, let me know if there's any of your favorites I haven't gotten to yet or that I missed besides this one, obviously. We got Chris the Comic Vet. Salute to you. Happy Saturday. Happy Batman Day. Hope your Saturday is off to a good start. So this is another as he mentioned, Bernie Wrightson art. I can give you a little, see if I can find a good page on the inside. Nice. Is that Dick Grayson in this? I can't remember if this is Dick Grayson or if this is Jason Todd era. I thought it was Dick Grayson. Maybe I'm wrong. And by the way, I'm only doing Batman focused books where he's either the main or the co-lead. I'm not doing it. Obviously, I love Year One Robin. I love Year One Batgirl. I have a ton of Catwoman stuff, but I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm sticking to just stuff where Batman's name is basically in the title of the book. So I'm sorry if there's other stuff you want to mention. Let's see here. So it is Jason Todd. Okay, good. World's Finest is great because it's basically a modern version of Silver Age Batman. Exactly. So there's The Cult. I've also, of course, like I mentioned, I've got Death in the Family. I think this really, spoiler, I think JP and I agree on this as well. This does not hold up. It really doesn't. There are so many things in this story that you don't need. Batman's basically in the Middle East. He's fighting terrorists. Batman does not need to leave Gotham. I'm just going to say it. Keep Batman in Gotham. Keep him in the city. It really is just, it's unnecessary. Obviously the juice here, the excitement here is the Joker, Jason Todd tragic ending. But this collects what? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, like 13 issues. I think you needed 4. That was it. I think there's just 4 important ones. The rest of this, and that's maybe stretching it. The rest is just filler and it's just a mess. So don't love it is the simple way to say it. I don't love it. It doesn't hold as a piece of history, nostalgia, whatever, as a connection to Jason Todd. Obviously it's significant, but not entertaining. That would be a good way to say it. Significant, but not entertaining. There you go. How about that? Yeah. Yeah. All the stuff with Joker is the ambassador for Iran. If you don't remember that stuff, if your brain is like, wasn't there just like a shed and a crowbar and some explosives? Yes. But also this. World's Finest is really great. It's really entertaining. The current Dan Mora, really high quality art, really worth the time. One love from Chicago. One love right back to you, buddy. How are things going there? I hope you're doing well on your Saturday. Let's see here. Desired Comics. What's up, Nigel? Good morning to you, sir. What's up, Chris the Comic Vet saying, I always thought the premise of Death of the Family should have been Justice League, just based on where it was on Earth, not Batman and Robin solo, regardless of Jason's mom. That's fair. That's fair. For me, like the core of it has to be like the tragic death. And I think they got so wrapped up in Iran and this plot line in the Middle East that it was like Batman versus the Joker in the Middle East was like, I don't need this. This is not what I was signed on for. So it's like hard pass on all that stuff. Let's see. I got a handful more, and we're down to the like kind of silly, cheesy ones that I've got here that are just kind of like one-off little things here and there. I've got the Many Deaths of Batman. This is John Byrne, obviously, Jim Aparo. This one's just kind of a quirky, fun, odd little story. I think this has only got like 3 issues in it. It's really simple and short. But I remember as a kid loving these books. Like, what's going on? People are killing Batman, and it's just wild. So that's like a nostalgia kick for me. Is Many Deaths of Batman. And it came in that box that I showed earlier. It came in this along with Batman Ego. Obviously, this is one that's very different. I think this is all Darwin Cook. So this is all Darwin. This is the first time I ever read Darwin Cook, and you get lots of wild stuff going on in this one. This is definitely a story with more Joker. If you're a Joker fan, you might enjoy Batman Ego. Again, really short, not terribly long, but I love his aesthetic, the Darwin Cook look, if you will. So if you're a Darwin Cook fan, or if you've never even read Darwin Cook, and you're just like, who's this guy? Who's this Darwin Cook guy? He just has a really great old school look here. So the Ego is a really simple, again, it's super skinny, like super tiny little trade. And it came in that box. So it was one that I always really thought was kind of fun. Special little treat, if you will. If you want something dark, and we're back to another writer that I really like on Batman, Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum. This book will mess you up. If you like your Batman dark and psychological and twisted and intense and heavy, this is basically the concept of the villains take over Arkham Asylum, and the one thing they want is Batman has to be sent in. They send Batman in, and they're going to kind of put him on trial and force him like a rat through a maze. And the ending is really worth your time. The story I thought was really, really intense, and the artwork is completely bizarre. It's really wild. The artwork, you're not going to have a book that's like this anywhere. The artwork is really wild. Yeah, of course, I think they based the Arkham Asylum video games on this, if I'm not mistaken. Really, really crazy. It's an intense read. You can see the Joker is kind of, leading the crazies, and it's hard to describe because it is very abstract in some sequences. It's all about insanity and the ways in which these characters are unstable, villains and heroes, and all of this kind of stuff. They're holding people hostage in Arkham Asylum, and Batman has to basically take their place or be willing to follow through on the games that they're playing with him, which is scary and intense. And he's dealing with his psychological baggage as well. And obviously, you get the pearl necklace and the death of mom and dad. But I thought, as far as a Batman book that is not straightforward, a Batman book that has so many layers and is almost Twin Peaks like, it has a very David Lynch style. And I think somebody like a Gore Vidal, White Whale Comics would probably put this higher on their list. And this might make a top 10 for me because it is so psychologically complex and full of depth. And so worth the time, something that people might really enjoy. On the flip side of that is Batman versus Predator, which is just as cheesy and silly and goofy as you want it to be. I mean, it's not great, but you've got Andy Kubert doing art. You've got a Predator on top of the Batmobile fighting Batman. I mean, it's popcorn. If that was a very complicated meal that you wanted to savor, this is popcorn. I just want to eat some popcorn and enjoy my entertainment. That's what this book is, and I think it knows what it's trying to do and has complete fun with it. So Batman versus Predator makes me laugh and I think is very entertaining. And again, Andy Kubert on artwork is always a good choice. So you've even got, you got Batman in the like Predator vision, the heat vision, the Predator's watching him. Yeah. Very entertaining. Is there a Wolverine? There's a Wolverine versus Predator coming. I mean, as a kid, I loved Batman versus Predator. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what John as a kid wanted to read. Like, give me more of that. And I think there's a second volume. I think there's a volume 2 of Batman versus Predator. I may be mistaken. What is up, Wellbore in the chat? Good morning to you. I hope your Batman day is off to a good start. And I got 3 left. I honestly don't remember this one. I don't remember. JP, maybe you give me some guidance if you're still in the chat. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special. Isn't this part of the Haunted Knight? It might be part of Haunted Knight. So I may have this one twice. Let's take a look here. Haunted Knight. Batman. I don't know if this one's included in these. So it's another Loeb & Sale Halloween. I feel like it's part of that. Legends of the Dark Knight special number 1. Is it part of, maybe it's part of Long Halloween. Is it part of Long Halloween? God, Lord. I feel like it's connected to those books somewhere. and I can't remember, and curse you DC. One of the things I always hate about DC is they never tell you on the back of the book what issues are in the book. They really dislike that. Apparently they don't want you to know what's inside. Whatever. So it may be part of the Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale stuff, but I have it in a solo individual book here with a fun reflective cover with the pumpkin on the front there. I will definitely do that, Liz. Thank you so much. She's not really waking up. That's how the birthday is going. She's just laying in bed. She's sleeping. She's taking it easy. She knows she's going to the beach later for some party time and things like that. Psychological thriller to a popcorn action. Batman lends itself to so many different genres and paths. This is a phenomenal perspective on a character that's had such longevity that there's a lot more variety to them, for certain. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Eric says, yes, there's a second volume. Don't forget Batman versus Spawn, because that came along when they were doing like the crossover, because there was like Superman versus Savage Dragon, right? There were a few different crossovers in that time, for sure. I have the Superman Savage Dragon one, of course. So I do have this. I don't know how it connects, sorry, to the to the other Loeb and Sales. Let's do Gotham by Gaslight. This is a very odd one that I don't love, but I think I know people have nostalgia for. It's basically like a turn of the century Jack the Ripper story and a Batman in Gotham, London, who is like trying to catch the killer. Artwork by Mike Mignola. So you do have a lot of good Mike Mignola style going on here. So those Mignola fans would probably appreciate this. I'm not a huge fan of it either, JP. Mostly because I don't understand how Batman could live and exist in another time than the one that he was perfectly suited for. But we do have him. Is Batman the killer? Or is he trying to stop the killer? Right? Some of that. It's an Elseworlds kind of thing. If you're into that kind of stuff, you want to see Batman in turn of the century England chasing Jack the Ripper. It exists. It's here. It's here. Yes, Eric, because obviously the reason to read this for me is, like Eric is saying, is Mike Mignola, who just has incredibly, talented skills. And I think that's a weird way to say that the artwork is the strong part here, for sure. Absolutely. Wasn't there an animated movie of Gaslight? I am not surprised. I know they've been trying to create like a Batman animated movie every year based on different graphic novels, so I would not be surprised. That makes sense to me. Nobody versus the Shadow. Batman can try. He'll never be as awesome. I mean, we all have our predecessors, right? All right, the last one I've got, and it's taken almost an hour to go through all of the trades I've got. I have a lot of Batman trades. I love reading Batman in trade, so it tends to have a lot of them. And the good ones are the ones at least I have an attachment to. I haven't gotten rid of. So I've got all these. The last one is one that I enjoyed a lot as a kid because it was like, Say No to Drugs was the era, when I started reading comics. We got Batman Venom. For those that don't know, this is a story that starts off with Batman being unable to save somebody and feeling like if I was only a little stronger, I could have done it. And so he starts taking roids. This is Batman on roids. There was that like after school special where we saw Ben Affleck. Yeah, that Ben Affleck with roid rage. And then later he played Batman. This is why. It all comes together now. It all comes first circle. So in this story, he just becomes a bit of an addict and then basically is being forced to do what the drug dealer wants him to do. And then he's got to overcome his addiction. And, it's wild. There's like sharks, Batman doesn't have his bat shark repellent, but there's sharks. And pill popping. And my favorite sequence is the one when he's like trapped in the well. And I think they've got, the concept is like you need a certain amount of weight to lift the door that traps him in this well, and it's slowly filling with water. And there's pills. And if he just pops the pills, apparently he'll be able to open the gate. But he's got to try to do it on his own with his own strength and his own intelligence. So I enjoyed this a ton as a kid. This was definitely one that I read a bunch. Let's see here. What was the one where Batman turns into a vampire? Ooh, I don't think I know that one. Wellbore says it was a Dark Knight storyline. Oh, I don't think I've read that one. Phil Ailing's in the chat. What's going on, Phil? Good to see you, sir. And so Venom, I have a nostalgia for, and I'll get to JP's comment in a second. I have a nostalgia for Venom, and I read it as a kid, and I enjoyed it. It doesn't hold up particularly well. It's very, early 90s kind of Bat stuff. But I still have a little place in the heart for that one. JP says the ones you missed that we covered were Gotham City Chronicles. Gotham City Chronicles. I don't know that I know that one. Batman Year 100. Okay. And Batman Earth 1, also good, but not great. Okay. All right. Well, then I wasn't too far off. I've kept up pretty well. I do need to reread. Oh, darn it. What was the one we were talking about that I needed to reread? Cult. I want to reread a Cult now that you mentioned how much you liked it. It might move up in my rankings now that as an adult, I'm rereading it. What did I do with my hair? Favorite that you didn't cover. I have not read Black Mirror. Big fan of the, I think it's Jock, right, on the artwork side, but I have not read Black Mirror. Dick Grayson's Batman, but Snyder, so you will hate it. Knows me so well. Batman Earth 43, according to the interwebs, is when he turns into a vampire. Oh, sorry. I thought there was sorry. I'm gonna just drink my coffee here, JP, and just wake up a bit. So the show on JP's channel is called Gotham City Chronicles, and they were reading great Batman stories. He and Kavi, my buddy from Panels, Pages, and Pixels, and I probably got that all in the wrong order. But if you want to hear guys talking about great Batman stories, reading them, breaking them down, did this one age well? Did it not? That kind of thing. I've been well entertained by the work of those two gentlemen. We got Robert Galvin. What is going on, Robert? I'm happy to see you, sir. And yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the shorts. Can you remind me, Robert? I'm trying to keep track because I know that you have an earlier Saturday show now. Can you remind me what time do you guys go live now on Saturdays? Because I want to start making sure my reminders are set. Robert Galvin is a great community member. He has fantastic panel of guests on each time, discussing all kinds of things related to comics and pop culture. So please be sure that you're following Robert Galvin. He says it's noon Eastern, so that's going to be no, wait. Is it noon my time? No, I'm really confused. Noon. I'll have to double check. But hit the live and the bell notification, and you'll be able to keep up with Robert Galvin. JP, can you drop the link? Yeah, JP, drop the link to either your channel or to if you have a playlist for the Gotham City Chronicles. Yeah, go for it. Please do. Been on vacation. It's 10 o'clock my time. So basically when I wrap, you can jump over and catch Robert Galvin. Perfect. I have a playlist discussing 29 Gotham related stories, most Batman focused, but not all. Did things like Gotham Central, which I love, and I have the omnibus for that. I know you did Year One Robin, Year One Batgirl, and things like that as well. Sleepy Reader Damien's in the chat. What's going on, Damien? Happy Saturday. Happy Batman Day. All right, he's been on vacation, so I hope you're enjoying your time off, Robert. I don't want you to miss out. And then JP dropped that link. So if you want to jump in and just see all the different things that they've discussed, you might be able to pick out your favorite. Like, oh, I would love to hear them talk about Long Halloween, and just click that and get that goodness because it's well worth the time. And these guys know their Batman. They know their Batman way better than I do. I've got 2 short boxes of Batman comics and obviously a mass of trades, but those guys know Batman better than me. So there you go. That is it for me. I shared the new books at the beginning of the show. So if you want to see some of that, I only read 2 of my new books. So I'm sorry I haven't gotten to all of them. Just birthday prep and life and work and all that kind of stuff. No teenagers today as we transition to being a channel with teenagers with Charlie hitting 13. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I will pass on all those, and she'll probably come back and just watch and scroll through the chat looking for her name. That's what teenagers do. You know, that's what they want to be on their phones, learning and seeing things about them. That's just a rule of teenagers I've learned. I'm going to put my Batman shelves back together, but I'm probably going to snap a ton of photographs for my Instagram so that we can do throw your sets up Saturday and see all the good trades that I've got for Batman reading, because there's lots of good things to enjoy. I appreciate everybody coming by and hanging out with us. What do I have coming up? Obviously, Sunday, I'm on D&D with the boys. Monday is the next Ted Lasso live stream on my channel, so I'll be doing that on Monday. And I'm trying to put together a few other things in the future. I want to put together a live stream, and I put the omnibus away, but I want to talk about new X-Men now that I'm all done, and I want to get some friends on that have been discussing it with me behind the scenes, just talking about it as I go along. So we may do a big new X-Men live stream at some point just to talk Grant Morrison for a little while. Let's see. Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Wheelchair Superhero. I hope you enjoy the subscription. JP is far superior channel to mine, so you'll find a lot of great stuff going on over there. Happy Man in a Cowl Day to you, Air Spider, and then hope to see you guys back here again for more content as we go along, because obviously it's nice to make these Saturdays when I can, but with sports, this was a rare sport-free Saturday, so that made it free for Batman Day. Have a great weekend, everybody, and see you again soon.